he may be convicted. Your Lordship, the words used are may and not must. Therefore, we should proceed with the trial. Firstly, the charges against Mr. Gandhi are of a serious character. And secondly, it's in the public interest. Those charges should be fully and thoroughly investigated.
I do not agree with your view, Mr. Advocate General. I have full discretion to convict on the plea. But your Lordship, I think it is proper to do so. And in this particular case, nothing would be gained by going once more into the evidence recorded by the previous trial. I therefore accept the pleas. Nothing further remains but to pass the sentence. And before doing so, I would like to hear the prosecution one last time.
My Lord, the first point I want to make is that Mr. Gandhi and Mr. Banker have been part of an organized campaign to spread disaffection openly and systematically to render the government impossible and to possibly overthrow it. The first article put in from Young India, dated 15th March 1921, states that it was the duty of a non-cooperator to spread disaffection towards the government.
Your Lordship, I want to show that these articles are not isolated. Mr. Gandhi has time and again, through his speeches, through his publications, has caused unrest among the masses, through his so-called civil disobedience and non-cooperation. In my opinion, Your Lordship, Mr. Gandhi should be punished with the harshest of sentences in the eyes of law.
Silence!
That's all, Your Lordship.
Mr. Banker, would you like to say something?
A word, my Lordship. My Lord, if I may. There is no doubt that Mr. Banker's offense is of a lesser character because he did not write. But being a man of means and resources, my Lord, Mr. Banker did the publication. Therefore, I would very much like this court to note down that his offense is too of a serious nature. Mr. Banker.
Our Lordship, I would only like to say that I have the privilege of printing these articles and I plead guilty to the offense. As regards the sentence, I have nothing to say. And you, Mr. Gandhi, would you like to make a statement on the question of sentence?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to make a statement here.
You may proceed.
I believe I owe it perhaps to the Indian public and to the public in England an explanation as to why, from a staunch loyalist and cooperator, I transformed into an uncompromising disaffectionist My journey with the British authority began in 1893 in South Africa. And it was not of a very happy character. I realized then that I had no rights because I was a man from India. As I came back to India, the very first shock that came my way was in the form of the Rowlatt Act. An act that I very strongly condemned because it was designed to rob my people of all real freedom.
Objection, Your Lordship. Mr. Gandhi is just proving my point by going against the crown.
Objection sustained. Mr. Gandhi, I can hold you in contempt of crown for making such statements.
My sincere apologies, Your Honor.
In the case of State versus M.K. Gandhi and S. Banker, the court has pronounced its sentence.
I still remember. Then came the horrors of Punjab, beginning with the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Section 124A, under which Mr. Banker and I are happily charged, I believe is perhaps the prince amongst all the political sections of the Indian Penal Code, which are used to suppress the freedom of my countrymen. This section is one under which mere display of disaffection itself is criminalized. It is laws like these, Section 124A, because, Your Honor, they could be used by the powerful to suppress the freedom of my country's future. Affection is not something that can be manufactured or regulated by law. If a person feels disaffectionate towards a particular system or the law, it is his full right to voice his opinion and display that disaffection, but only to the extent where it does not promote or incite violence of any manner.
Mr. Gandhi, I do not forget that you've always preached against violence and have done much to prevent violence. But having regard to the nature of your political teaching and the nature of those to whom it was referred, how could you have continued to believe that violence would not be the inevitable consequence? It passes my capacity to understand.
Your Lordship, I endeavor to show to my countrymen that the use of violence only multiplies evil, and withdrawal of support from evil requires complete abstention from the use of violence. I stand here before this court to submit myself and cheerfully accept the harshest penalty that can be inflicted upon me. For what? In the eyes of the law, it's a deliberate crime. But in my eyes, is the duty of the highest order for any citizen. Only course that remains with you, the judge, is to either resign from your post if you believe that in reality I am innocent and that the law you administer is in fact evil, or to award me the harshest penalty that this law can, if you are of the opinion that I am the real culprit, and the system and the government that you stand by is beneficial for this country. That's all, Your Lordship. That's all.
Mr. Banker, I assume you've been to a large extent under the influence of your chief. The sentence that I propose to pass upon you is simple imprisonment for 1 year and a fine of 1,000 rupees. And you, Mr. Gandhi, you've made my task quite easy in one way by pleading guilty to the charge. The law is no respecter of persons. Nevertheless, you are in a different category from any person I have tried or am likely to have to try. It is my duty to judge you as a man subject to the law, who, by his own admission, has committed to what an ordinary citizen must appear to be a grave offense against the state. I propose in passing sentence to follow the precedent of a case in many ways similar to this one. I mean the case against Bal Gangadhar Tilak under the same charge of sedition. A sentence of 2 years, simple imprisonment on each count of the charge, which I believe is my duty to pass upon you. And I should like to say that if the course of events in India should make it possible for His Majesty's government to reduce this period and release you, no one will be better pleased than I.
I would like to make a statement here, Your Honor.
You may.
You have done me great honor by associating my name with the late Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak by way of this trial. With regards to the sentence, I happily accept it. And with regards to the whole trial,